Welcome to Collaboration Conversations. I'm your host, Regina Partain Bergman, CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. Delighted to have another amazing co host with us today for our Collaboration Conversations show. Today, my guest co host is Peter Rivera. And Peter and I met couple of months ago. I guess
Yeah,
it's been 2 or 3 months at least,
yeah.
through doing a podcast program and have continued to do some things together. I'm excited to have him as our co host today. Peter is the owner of Responsible Peptides, and I'm going to let him tell you all about that. Welcome to the show, Peter. And would you tell folks a bit about your journey, who you serve, and why?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Regina, for having me on as a co-host. It was great being a guest, but being a co-host is just even more exciting because I get to bring some of these amazing people that I'm going to introduce to the world today to your broadcast. I'm in the peptide industry, and if you don't know what a peptide is, it's a small amino acid chain. But what I basically do is I reduce the pain and suffering in humanity through peptide therapy. And that's what we really are about. We're about medicine 3.0. And we're getting to this point where we can actually identify biomarkers in ourselves and actually use something to prevent or lessen it from happening in our lives as we get older. It has to do with longevity, it has to do with energy, it has to do with just living every minute and moment of your life to the fullest. The reason my why, as people like to say, what's your why? My why has to do with back when my parents both passed away. My father and mother both died of AIDS. And I watched them go through a process that was, to say painful, would be minimizing it to the most up degree. But what I did see was an opportunity where I could help people. That's why I started my personal training career. And then at some point, I knew science had to get better at helping us live longer and healthier, in coordination with fitness. So that's when I got into the peptide world and I found all these amazing things that these little amino acids can do for you. And it's just changed my life, literally from my 45-pound weight loss in 4.5 months to healing an Achilles tear in two. So they're just super phenomenal things. I'm just so glad to be able to bring it to the masses. And for anybody who wants to be involved with it, you just contact me and I'll get you all set up.
Fantastic. I must sit down with you one of these days and learn more about it because every time I hear you talk about it, I think this is amazing. This is everybody needs to know about this, and so many people don't, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
people like myself and Adam in particular, and as well as Emma and Rhonda's come on board as well, can speak to the aspect of how impactful these little molecules or these little amino acids are, to people, and how wonderful it is to have them aboard on this journey we have, in this life, but also to give you the proper information and education,
Excellent.
and what I brought to the table here today are three amazing people, and I don't know if there's a better word than saying they're educators because they're
Uh,
just experts in their craft, and each one has a dynamic nuance about themselves, and when you hear them speak, you'll get it. And I think that's the beautiful part about humanity is everybody has their lane, and when they know it, and they feel it, and that passion comes out. And I mean, I'm fired up right now to have
I
all of you
can tell.
here. Like I've gone through I've had one cup of tea. That's it. Literally no coffee. This is just me being fired up. I wore my Go Bananas shirt. I mean, this is just awesome. So I'm gonna just get right to it and let these people rock.
Yeah, introduce our guests, please, our
Absolutely.
panelists.
Okay, so ladies first. All right. I'm gonna go with my dear friend and family. I'm gonna go with Rhonda. Rhonda is the most unassuming, most decorated athlete in the United States in her sport of racquetball, both men and women. So, Rhonda, I'm going to feed that to you and serve up that, and then you backhand the hell out of it. Well, you got to unmute yourself first, though. You got to unmute yourself. There we go.
Backhand splat coming up there for you. Thank you, Peter. My name is Rhonda Rasich. I am a professional racquetball player, speaker, athlete, or coach, and author. Um, I've been playing competitively since I was 10. First picked up a racket when I was 2, also a basketball. So I have an interesting dynamic of knowing how to take accountability. Personally, as racquetball is mainly an individual sport, I mean, we do have doubles, of course, but most of the time it kind of comes all down to you are responsible for everything that happens on that court. You're only in charge of yourself. But as a basketball player, there's that whole team unity, that whole team chemistry, that whole everyone, raising everyone else up to their greatest self and their greatest being, not just being a good leader, but being a good teammate. So I think that's an interesting perspective that I have. But um, I've been speaking for over 18 years. I've been doing elevation coaching for nearly 7, and it all kind of falls under the umbrella of just being able to use my experiences, use my a lot of life lessons that I've learned through athletics and through certain events in life, to help other people through the lessons that I've learned and the tools that I've gained and continue to gain, and the things that I continue to learn about myself, about humanity. And I just want to use every morsel of wisdom that I've either learned or been given or created, to help as many people as I can.
That's awesome.
Love it.
So I'm gonna
Absolutely.
do this really quick, Regina. Rhonda, unmute
Yes.
yourself again. Tell your story. I want everybody to hear it.
Okay. In 2008, I was living in Hermosa Beach. You're getting a very, very elevator version. There's a lot more that happened that night. I was walking down the street in Hermosa Beach, California, and I got jumped from behind by 2 guys with brass knuckles. I took about 10 to 15 shots to my face and head, and my eyeball almost fell out. It's not hyperbole. It actually literally almost fell out. I had to have facial reconstructive surgery. This all happened on June 1st, and I lost 37 pounds of muscle. I couldn't sleep laying down, and I couldn't eat solid food until October. But by July 29th, after some, negotiating, trying to maintain my spot on Team USA, I was able to go to Ireland with Team USA for our World Championships, and I won my first world title under those circumstances. So I know a thing or two about perseverance. I know a thing or two about what we as human beings are actually capable of when we know ourselves and therefore believe in ourselves. And I think that I'm not special. This is something I believe that every human being is born with, this innate sense of resilience, of strength, of fortitude. It's just knowing that we have it. And even if you don't know where it is, dig down deep enough, you'll find it, and we can do anything. So
awesome. Thank you. Because that's what I want to do. That's what the world needs to hear more of.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's like superhero stuff to me. I'm sorry. That is just
leaves me speechless, Rhonda.
Really,
Just
really.
leaves me speechless.
All right. So Emma, you're up. All right. So I recently just connected with Emma on LinkedIn, and Emma is a fascinating young lady. Her and her team have invented an AI software that is, when I mean it is going to change the world, literally, she literally is going to change the world. And I cannot speak on it because I've just played with it a little bit. It is phenomenal. I'm going to just serve it up to you as well, Emma, and go for it.
Rhonda, I love your story. Oh my goodness.
thank you.
I can't top that, but I'm going to tell you a story nonetheless. So I'm Emma. I invented AIMD back a couple of years ago with my co-founder, and we brought on a couple of co-founders since. Essentially, this is a little story. We'll tell you a little story. So I was in my PhD in neuroscience at McMaster University, working on some other AI tools in healthcare. And I realized that these AI tools were not really being commercialized in a way that they need to. Largely, when an AI tool is developed, it gets sold to big pharma and it gets used in clinical trials. And, pharma loves this, right? Because they save so much money, so much time, so much energy trying to get information about their clinical trial participants that these tools can just take away. And so these are tools like cough recognition for detecting respiratory conditions. These are things like skin recognition tools for dermatology, where you can scan like your skin and it can tell you if you're experiencing a skin condition. These are things, there are a variety of these out there, right? Not only for dermatology and respiratory conditions, sexually transmitted diseases, you can analyze speech for mental health. There's a variety of these tools that exist, but only being used by a few thousand people in clinical trials. So me and my team sat back and we were thinking, is like, well, this is there's a bit of a discrepancy here with the 130 million people on WebMD alone trying to figure out what they have on the internet to only find cancer or a brutal STD that they're never going to get rid of. And these few thousand people that are able to harness these tools, but only in the clinical trial setting. So essentially what we did is we built a tool called AIMD, where a person can come and they can get access to a variety of different health AI tools that are the best for them. So we make sure the person gets the best AI based on their demographic, who they are, how old they are, where they're from, their device, right? Their environment, right? If they're how much lighting, how much sound is in the background, that kind of stuff. And, a bunch of other boring things that, create variation in these systems. And so that people can get a super accurate diagnosis from their cell phone. And so we are one of, we invented this concept as cell phone as a diagnostic device, right? Because all of the hardware that's in a cell phone can actually be harnessed to diagnose medical conditions. And when we know this information about ourselves, we can make a lot better choices, right? But at the root of this thought is that, when your car breaks down, you can take it to the mechanic and they'll tell you what's wrong with it for free. We need that for humans. We need to have the basic functionality that you get when you have a Ford Fiesta for your human person, right? This is the logic that I want to spread. This is the information I think people need to know. But yeah, and it's been a super exciting and worthwhile cause, and we just released our beta, and we met Peter, who is like the most excitable, just amazing guy, and yeah, no, it's been times are super exciting for us, and I hope they can be exciting for other people, and I hope other people can be more empowered to have knowledge about their health and to learn about themselves and really have accessibility to the best of the best, and that's what we're up to.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And Emma, Emma looks like a baby, and I told her I would card her for like the next 50 years of her life. But Emma, tell me how old you are.
I'm 25.
She's 25, and you have your what? PhD?
PhD in neuroscience. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are the people I want to know. Right? Because if I have something going on with me and I've used their software and it nailed my blood pressure, it nailed my heart rate, it nailed everything about me. It was really wild, and it did it in 30 seconds. One of the really cool things, though, Emma, and I followed her TikTok, and I saw one TikTok video. We talked about it yesterday. Tell them about what you're doing that is so just amazing to humanity.
Oh. So because we think this should be free, right? We think that a human, like I was saying, the Ford Fiesta a human should be able to get the same treatment as a Ford Fiesta, right? We're trying to create that for the world. We're trying to create that globally. And we recognize that, in these in certain parts of the world, even parts of like the rural world in North America, where supposedly, we have really all right access to things, we don't, right? And so what we're doing is for every scan that we do for someone, who is privileged enough to be able to, utilize the technology today, we're giving a free scan to someone in need. And eventually, we hope the whole system is free, but today we have to charge for it because we're just getting going. So we're trying to give scans away and trying to partner up with companies and individuals and whatnot that can help us to help others. So that's it's something that's super, super important to us.
That was just amazing when I saw that. I was like, wow. Yeah. So, great stuff, Emma. Super stuff.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
my,
I'm about
my-
to defend my PhD, by the way.
what's that?
I said I'm about to defend my PhD. Almost there. I'm so close.
I'm not even going to touch that. It took me 8 years to graduate my bachelor's. All right. So my man, Adam, brother from another mother. How you doing?
How you doing,
Adam and Jesse are partners in modern therapeutics. And I met them through my AZE entrepreneur group. And we've become really close friends over the last several months, just talking about business and the world of testosterone replacement therapies and everything else. And Adam and Jesse have put together this really unique facility where, you know, literally the turnover from getting your blood work drawn and analyzed and back to you is literally like within a day. And they're able to do this and with the utmost accuracy, and they're really great at what they do, and they're really setting a standard for the TRT business in the area, and actually it should be across the world, to be honest with you, because what they do is they do it the right way. So Adam, I'm serving that one up to you. Hit it out of the park, buddy.
Yeah, well, thank you, Peter. Ron, Regina, thank you for having me on your show this morning.
Delighted.
My name's Adam Burns. I am co-founder and CEO of Modern Therapeutics. We are located in Scottsdale, Arizona. We have a wellness clinic. We focus primarily on testosterone optimization. What makes us unique is that we focus on couples and individuals alike. Too many of these clinics, a lot of these clinics, they're sheep. There's one clinic sets a standard, and unfortunately, the standard historically, traditionally, that has been set for testosterone clinics is, you know, these big sweaty guys in the gym. Well, that's not reality. It could be a pipe dream for a lot of people, but that's not realistic. We want to show people that, you know, we are here to help. You don't have to age gracefully. I wish I had a time machine. We could put everyone in and take years off. Can't do that, but we can help you find your fountain of youth through responsible hormone optimization. And again, we like to focus on the couple as the unit. A lot of these clinics, they use scare tactics, and you could go online on Google, on any website, you're going to see a list of bullet points showing you all the things that are wrong with you as a human being. Well, I can tell you personally, I got started with testosterone replacement therapy a little over 3 years ago. I was one of those guys. I'm in my 40s now, and I used to think, I'm so fortunate I don't have to deal with any of these things. Do guys really have to deal with these things? They sure are trying to make me feel horrible about myself, but fortunately I'm not there. Well, I woke up one morning and I said, wait a second. I think my age is catching up with me here. I need to do something about it. You know, fortunately, we're living at a time and age where preventative medicine, it's being embraced, it's being promoted, it's being valued. People understand the value in it, not just going to the doctor when you're sick, but taking care of yourself so you can improve the quality of your life and your lifestyle, most importantly. What we do here is help you make the most out of your life. Everyone has a future ahead of themselves, and it's not like we hit, 40, 45 years old and we're going downhill from there. That should be a starting point, next chapter of your life. We want to show people that there is a responsible way to treat yourself with bioidentical hormone replacements. And it's acceptable, it's normal. And real quick, going back to what I mentioned about couples, oftentimes, we know the divorce rate in this country, it's more than a coin. Odds are against you. It's very easy for people to blame themselves, to blame their partners for maybe things that are going on physically, mentally. Bringing in the couple as a unit together where we can address maybe some personal things that are going on. We're not counselors, we're not therapists, but sometimes there's a logical explanation with your body, with science, as to maybe why you guys aren't in sync together. So if there's a way that we can work collectively as one unit, as a group, to make you the best that you can be, so you can live your life together successfully and happily.
Yeah.
I love that. Peter, you did exactly what you said you did.
I'm fortunate enough to have met each of these people at the right time. And I was supposed to meet each one of them, and to bring them all together and sync all of them into this one conversation, that was a no-brainer. That was a no-brainer. I mean, I was putting a list, and I was telling Regina, I was like, yeah, I'm like, and this one and this, and I was like, it's gonna be great. And then but they're just all different, but they're all the same. And and I think that's what we see here, right? We're all different, but we all have the same passion. I mean, I'm a little more, how do you say, hype man about it, but you know what I mean? And that's just my thing. But if I believe in something, I don't feel like you should hold back from it. I feel like you should embrace it, and you should go for it, and each of these individuals have done that. I mean, they're all revolutionary in their thought process, if you think about it, and going against trends that we're so conditioned to say are the way we should do them. You know what I mean? And that's it, whereas Rhonda's story and what she did, I mean, and I know she believes everybody has it in them. Yeah, they do. But I want to know that the other 99.9% of people that don't get up, that don't make it to their first international tournament and then win. Okay. Not just one. Okay. That's ridiculous stuff. I mean, Emma and her group, I mean, for the fountain of youth that they are, and the mentality that they can think of all this stuff and about the world and wanting to help people for free. I mean, who thought of that concept? Whoa, wait a second. How do we make money off of that? Right. Because that's what we're conditioned to think about, right? Not giving. And Adam and what he and Jesse created is this thing where he just said it, I'm going against the norm. The norm of when you think of testosterone is this big guy, sweaty guy in the gym, or it's bad for you, all the negative stuff. No, they're inviting, you know what I mean? Their facility's beautiful. It's one of those things where you walk in and you're like, oh, it feels so nice to be here. It's just very calm, and Adam's demeanor is just who he is, and it makes you relaxed, and your guard drops, and things are explained out. So I think each of these amazing human beings are exactly that. They're amazing human beings. And I know you, Regina, are like me. The more we can get exposure to these people, to the masses, all you have to do is change one person's perspective, and you've done what you're supposed to do, right? Just one person, because that
one person.
That's
and
it.
Then you get to be what? You get to be part of the ripple effect, right?
That's right, exactly. Yeah, and that's all it really takes, And I use this phrase sometimes. There's so many people out there trying to hit a grand slam home run with nobody on base. And I'm like, but you know what? You need a walk every now and then. You need a single. You need a double. You know what I mean? You need to load the bases before you hit that grand slam. And if you're not working on loading the bases one base at a time, then you're never going to get that shot. You're never going to.
Great analogy.
So
yeah.
Super proud. I mean,
I appreciate all of your stories, all of what each of you are doing. But let me ask you, what role has collaboration played in building what you're building and doing what you're doing and the impact that you're making? What's been the role of collaboration for you in that? Emma, I see you nodding your head. You want to go first on that?
Yeah, well, everything is built on collaboration, right? Everything is built on partnership, and like in anything, and like any technology, you should try to, in certain situations, you don't always want to reinvent the wheel, because it takes a lot of extra time and extra money, extra challenge, extra heartache, to try and reinvent the wheel. If you can bring on partners, right, that can help you, and if you can have like relationships, right, of people that can help to bring awareness to your product and like bring customers and just people that are like in need but that just wouldn't know, right? And that is, like you were saying, like the ripple effect, right? And that comes largely through collaboration. And so for me, collaboration has been the bulk of the business. It's in everything, it's in every piece.
Got it.
Yeah.
Rhonda, any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, there's the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think that's, very evident in across a lot of different industries. For example, like I said, I've been speaking for over 18 years, and I've been elevation coaching for nearly 7, but it's all been through word of mouth. And as far as sort of scaling that up and being able to help more people at one time, or getting larger groups of people to invite them to see the possibilities that they have within themselves. It's become for me personally, like, I'm realizing the things I'm really good at and the things that I'm not really good at. I am not really good at social media. That's just not where I want to spend my time. I want to spend my time, with the face to face and helping people and speaking to people and getting in front of people. Putting it out there digitally, it's not that I'm averse to it. It's just that's not my strong suit.
Not where you need to
Brand,
be spending your time.
yes, branding is not my strong suit. Helping is my strong suit. But the marketing side of things, I'm great at being the billboard. I'm not great at painting the billboard. You know what I mean? So I had a lunch a few weeks ago with a very wise woman who said, you can be the best speaker or the best coach that there is, but if nobody knows about you, you're the world's best kept secret. And
And none
so,
of us need to be that.
right. So as far as collaboration, I am leaning on those individuals, Peter included. Peter is a great megaphone for me, because he says all the things I would never say about myself. So
Yeah.
that's another example of just being honest about, you know we all have things that we're good at, we all have things that we're not so great at, and we can work on those things, but while we're working on them, we still need them to get done, maybe by people who that is their strong suit. And I
Yeah.
think that collaboration and relationships, and you say the word networking event or networking group, and it just kind of brings this stench along with it. And I
Mhm.
will say that that's one thing about our Arizona Entrepreneurs Group, that's also where I met Peter in November, actually, the November event.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that you will not find at those events. There's no
Yeah.
there's no sales breath. There's no pitch breath. Everyone there is what they call servant CEOs. Everyone is there to be of service to those around them. And I think
Excellent.
that's a great alignment of the values that I believe that everyone on the screen right now has in common. And I think that's what makes this group unique. I think that's what makes this trajectory that we're all on so powerful, because it isn't the norm, it isn't the standard, it isn't
Yeah.
the what's in it for me, it's the what's in it for them.
Right.
And that's I think what the world needs more of, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if I can rephrase something you said there, everyone needs a Peter in their corner, right?
Absolutely, but I got dibs on this one.
Super flattered with that one. Thank you very much. Super flattered. Adam,
Adam, yeah,
yeah.
thank you, Peter.
Okay, well, historically, traditionally, grassroots marketing, grassroots networking is hands down the most powerful way to establish relationships, grow relationships, increase the quality of your pre-existing and new relationships. We're dealing with medicine here. We're not selling a retail product. And what's important to me from a B2C standpoint, a lot of our patients that come in to see us, it's referrals. Someone has a good experience with our clinic, and people always say, you're not buying the product, you're buying the vendor. That's what you're paying for.
Right.
Peter, thank you. You had some very nice compliments about us at Modern Therapeutics. But you're right. When people come in here, we'd like to establish a certain rapport with the patients, so they know where the value is. It's not in the medication. It's where you're coming to get the medication, and where you're coming for guidance on your health. This is the most important part of who you are. Without your health, you have nothing. From a B2B standpoint, again, grassroots marketing, networking, collaborating. To me, that's the most responsible way to build a healthy client base. Essentially, for any business, what you have that comes in on day one, it's kind of going to dictate what comes in the future for you. Like I said, we are trying to do, we are definitely doing things differently than the other clinics out there. And that is, we're not trying to fit someone else's model because they were successful. For all the people that are attracted to the sweaty gym imagery, think about all the people that are turned off from that. Think about all the women at home that don't want to see their husbands or boyfriends or partners, whoever they share the bed with, go out and get attractive so they can sit at home. And psychologically, it's not I don't think it's anything that anybody wants. So by collaborating, by networking, by working closely with both our client base and from a B2B level, our vendors and other professionals in our industry and similar industries. It allows us to, in a sense, curate the type of patient that we have coming in here, the type of referrals that we see here in the business. It's just, I think it's good business.
Yeah.
It's there's two components of business. There's money, and then there's the satisfaction of running your business. We're taking care of people, and it feels good. We want to take care of people who are in this for the right reasons, not trying to get huge at the gym, trying to enjoy their life, enjoy their years, again, find their fountain of youth. And there's a certain type of clientele. So yeah, collaborating with the right businesses, the right individuals, for me personally, it's priceless. It's invaluable.
Excellent. Peter, I'm sorry, Peter.
Adam hit on something, and it triggered something in my head, and the analogy he gave about, the big sweaty guy, and then people wouldn't really address testosterone issues and stuff. It's the same thing as, I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, before Emma was born, that they said that banning smoking from bars would kill the bar industry. But then what happened was they did a study, and in 6 months, we actually increased bar traffic by 20%. Then when they went back in their research, they found that 50% of the people would less likely go out to a restaurant that had a bar that was smoking. So they actually increased their profits by 20% by saying, we don't want this dangerous product that we believe in our shop, and because that's not how we want to operate. So that was kind of, it's that analogy, right? It's you don't know anything until you're educated about it, but there's a lot more people that'll sit back and not do something because they heard from somebody else or they read something else, get any experience from, visiting with Adam, and I can go, hey, you know what? That was the best consult I've ever had. Or they took blood work and it didn't even hurt. Like, you know what I mean? And that's invaluable, but it's the care process though, and I think that's what we're all in this for, is the caring of other human beings, and what their experience is with us. And after they leave us is the most important thing. I've probably said this to all of you at one point or time or another, the biggest and the greatest commodity in life is time, because you can't get it back. It's here and it's gone. Right? The moment is gone, right? So if you're not in it for the moment for the right reasons, then the moment's tainted, and I think that's really what it comes down to. Rhonda and her story and just the fortitude that she has can touch so many individuals that are having tough times right now, going, man, you know what? And it's not a comparison. If she could do that, then I can get out of this. You know what I mean? And that's, she brings that strength out of people, I wish I had Emma's stuff. Her AI, 5 years ago, I popped for a heart attack, and I literally stood on my couch for 2 days in a position where I was like, okay, I don't have pain now, I'm good, but when I moved, I had pain, and then I wound up realizing I actually had a medical heart condition where I have a narrowing of the artery that leaves my heart. If I had her AI, I would have been able to scan my face. I would have seen my blood pressure was 168 over 120. Yeah, I would have gone to the emergency room. But instead, the male brain sat there and was like, oh, I can work this out. Don't worry about it. I'm good. You know what I mean? Until it was just like, no, you're not good. You got to go. So, it's to see the individuality that we have on the screen here, but how it affects each of us personally and can connect with us and what they're doing. I think that's the most beautiful thing about what this group brings to the table, including yourself, Regina, because if you didn't do this, we wouldn't be able to speak out and have this forum. And I'm really, I appreciate what you've done for so many people. And it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have time for, I think, one more round. And so I'd like to take 2 questions and put them into one, have you kind of address both sides of this, because we've got listeners who are at the beginning of their collaborative journey, others who've been collaborating for some time, right? And so their needs are different. So what I'd like for you to give some counsel to at this point is, if someone has never really considered the value of collaboration, what would you say to them about how to get started? And then on the other end of the scale, if someone's already collaborating, how can they up their game? How can they make it even better and get even more benefits and give more benefits? So who feels like they'd like to tackle that first?
I can go first.
Okay, Emma, thank you.
How to start collaborating. So someone actually brought this up to me the other day. They're like, Emma, I started a company. I don't know how to find co-founders. I'm kind of out here on like a dinghy by myself. I quit my job, right? I was on this big cruise ship and now I'm off on my dinghy alone. And like, how do I find co-founders? Like, how do I find like help people information? And it's for entrepreneurs, like I think it's largely in going out and networking, like going to events like Peter was talking about, like his Arizona like entrepreneurs event, right? Going out to things like that and doing it at like a regular cadence. I think like weekly at least. Like I go to 1 or 2 a week. You know, I think it's important to go out and meet the community, and it makes it feel less isolating. Right. There's even founders groups that you can join. I'm actually a part of a organization called Founders Game. It's for founders that are looking to collaborate with other founders, founders that have raised money, founders that have had some, I guess, like notable achievements, but it's actually founded by the third partner of Stripe with that, and also one of the co-founders of Netflix that we're working with, as well as some other individuals who have raised fairly substantial amounts for their companies. I'm actually on the founding team of Founders Game with these folks, and essentially that will provide even like a virtual network for people to join. And a lot of the times in these types of systems and networks, you're really rewarded for your participation, right? So there's like many perks. So if you're not motivated maybe just by collaboration alone, right, then you can get in on these, you know, type perk situations where you're having collaboration, but then you're also getting in on like a yacht charter or a jet charter or whatever, right? You get to have snacks, right? I always that's always my question: is there snacks at the party? Like I didn't eat yet. You know, there's something about being a business owner that just doesn't let you eat until dinner some days. You know, a lot of lately, right? And if there's snacks at the party, right, you gotta find something. You gotta find something to motivate yourself. You know, if it's not the collaboration or like the people alone, maybe there'll be something there to help you on your way. So that's for people that want to collaborate more. And then the other thing, and I am kind of guilty of this, for people that are collaborating but want to collaborate more and have more relationships. Even collaborate. I think it's a really great idea to collaborate sometimes with people that don't initially look like you should probably be talking to, right? Because sometimes we put up this wall, this barrier. They're like, if they don't meet XYZ criteria, they can't help me. I only have this much time, right? And so if I am speaking to people that are outside of that sort of criteria, that zone, then I will be, you know, throwing away my most valuable resource, like Peter says.
Yeah.
And I love that.
We run into a problem, right? We run into a problem because then we sort of narrow our scope. But I think people should agree to more meetings, myself included, that aren't exactly with people that fit the box, right? And I think we have to be somewhat selective. Got to stay on track. You know, we have to meet the targets, do the things, right? Run the business, right? Keep the lights on. But I think it's good to expand your horizons when you have an opportunity, when you can, right? Like when you can find the bandwidth, because it might just produce the opposite effect. Like it might be even more refreshing, right?
You made me think of, you know, when we meet someone, we don't see the whole person. We see that first layer. Mm-hmm. But that second or third layer of that relationship may be where that opportunity comes in. You may not see it in that first layer of meeting, if you will. Yeah. And so, that I love that idea. Just, you know, don't make that judgment on that first interaction.
Yep. Fantastic.
Excellent. Awesome. So, Adam? Oh, Peter, did you have something?
Oh, no. I was just raising my hand for my glass. Oh, okay. But it's empty. I'm out of my tea.
But he's not out of energy, folks.
No, not at all. No, we're ready to go.
So, Adam, what are your thoughts?
So sorry, I was listening to Emma. What was the question again?
The question is, we've got people at different stages of this collaboration journey.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's just getting started, how they can get started? And then someone who's been playing this game for a while, how can they up their game? How can they be more effective as a collaborator?
Well, for me personally, I think, I hate to use the phrase think outside the box, but for me with business, I like to look not within my immediate community, but look outside the community that caters to a similar demographic.
Yes.
For example, let's say as a business, I'm looking for I want to do some marketing. I want to go to a trade show, for example. I'm a testosterone clinic. Okay, a lot of people would think, okay, you should go to a health and wellness, a fitness trade show. Okay, well, I could say, okay, what's my demographic? Who's my audience? I'm going to be diluted in a sea of health and wellness people. I'm trying to get the most bang for my buck, create the most relationships, get some time. What I like to do is, again, think outside the box a little bit and say, okay, I know who my target is, but if I could approach my target outside, or maybe catch them outside of their arena, not within the health and wellness market, but go outside. For example, in Phoenix here, we have a lot of golfers. Okay, they're into the lifestyle, staying young, staying fit. You know, you go to a golf event, you wouldn't imagine you'd be networking with other medical clinics or health and wellness business. It's all going to be golf clubs and driving ranges. But for me personally, it gives me greater visibility, first and foremost, and more opportunities to gain someone's attention that I want, because they are not overwhelmed with similar people, similar industries, all fighting for their attention. So I think there's a very safe, very efficient way to go about networking with the right people. Just, you got to catch them outside of their norm, you know, when they're not expecting it. Yeah. And I think it's a very responsible and a very respectful way to go about doing it.
Yes. You make me think of, you know, we tend to think linearly about things. And so we think about, you know, drawing a line from here to here. But what's wrong with drawing the line from here to here, or from here to here? You know, that we can, you know, I think about tic-tac-toe kind of a thing, or a bingo card, you know, you're looking for different ways to do that. And so we need to get out of that linear model and think about how we can reach those audiences. Who else serves our audience?
Right.
Yeah. Excellent, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Rhonda.
So one of my favorite things that my lawyer ever said to me was that his superpower is that he knows a guy, or he knows a guy who knows a guy. And I've recognized that, you know, there's some people in this world that are just really great connectors. Peter is one of those people. Another person that he and I both know, a woman named Allie, she works for the Arizona Coyotes. She's a phenomenal connector. And when you can surround yourself with connectors who are very versed in the connections that they can make, it really expands your own network just through that one person. So, you know, if you're one of those people who, you know, as far as collaborating, one of those people who's very shy, very maybe not intimidated, but maybe large groups aren't your thing for networking events. If you can find yourself a few of those connectors that kind of have those relationships where they can make the introduction for you, you're not just kind of walking up and, you know, hi, I'm so and so. What do you do? Here's my card. Like that's such a bad flow for actually establishing relationships. It's great for getting a business card collection about this thing. But it's not necessarily good for building those relationships. And when you can actually make an introduction or get someone to make an introduction for you, when you can accomplish those things, I think that it really expands your network exponentially. I mean, when I try to explain, one of the questions I get so often lately is, how do you know so-and-so? And I'm like, well, actually through Peter, through this, through that, and then, and they know Peter too. I mean, it's such a, you can really make an incredible relationship web
Yeah.
by surrounding yourself with great connectors. And also, one other tip I would have is, be willing to listen to, especially those views and opinions and strategies and tools and things that don't necessarily align with exactly where you're at. Like, be willing to hear all sides. Be willing to hear all sides of an argument. Be willing to hear all sides of an idea. Be willing to
Right.
hear the no's as well as the yeses. Because if you're just going to surround yourself with yes men or yes women, you're just reinforcing the path that you're already on. You're not actually gaining anything that's going to help you along that path. You've got to be able to hear the opposites. You've got to be able to hear the maybe some angles that you hadn't thought of yet. Like, well, I was going to do this, but I didn't consider that, and that would be terrible if I went down that road, because this could happen. So,
Yeah.
Be willing to listen to opinions that do not align with your own, and then
Excellent.
take all the information you can get and make your best decision at the end of the day. And thank everyone in your circle for being of service to you, whether they agreed with you or not. They're not. Somebody's genuinely trying to help you. They shouldn't just agree with you blindly. They should. Hey, you should think about this.
Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you. Peter, as you give your response, would you also take us into our wrap-up round? Because, folks, we have hit that time point. And in the wrap-up round, would you ask everyone to share their final thoughts on collaboration and their contact information? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it away, Peter.
All right. So we'll start with Emma.
Final thoughts?
Yep. Final thoughts on the collaboration. And
Final thoughts on collaboration. It's a good idea.
And how we find you.
It's a good idea. I love it.
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Perfect.
So I'm going to, how about an anecdote, a final anecdote? So there are many ways you can actually expedite this significantly using AI. I love AI. I'm an AI scientist. AI is the best. AI comes in all shapes and sizes, and it also comes in productivity tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you can message people on LinkedIn, something, in your, target audience of people that you want to talk to, using certain tools. So the one I use is actually called Dripify. If anyone's interested in the link to it, I can post it. But essentially, how it works is you can put a message into the AI and it will send it out to people of your target demographic, working in a certain industry, doing a certain role, certain characteristics about them. You can fire it off and you can kind of see who bites and who wants to, have a conversation with you, wants to network with you, wants to learn more about you, and perhaps you want to learn more about them as well. And it's a really great way to sort of just streamline the process of doing some reach outs so that you can get responses to it, and then you can engage with people that are interested in engaging in you, and you aren't so privy to I guess rejection, right? Because sometimes maybe we don't want to send a message out manually because then we notice it more oh, they didn't respond. Oh, this is a negative outcome, right? But when you just have a bot do it, it's a significantly improved experience, right? And it can help to select, part of the AI tooling is that it can select people that, are, more likely to engage, so to speak. So harnessing those types of toolings are, potentially quite helpful for things like collaboration. But that would be a final note, a final thought.
That's
awesome.
And
then Emma, would you also give your contact information audibly for folks? We put it in the comments, but if you'll share it as well.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Just tell folks what you.
You can send me an email at emma@ai-md.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. My name's Emma Tolsdorf.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great job, Emma. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Regina, and thank you, Peter. This has been fantastic. It's great to meet you all.
Absolutely.
Great to have you here.
Want to go Rhonda next?
Sure. Final thought on collaboration is, I guess, like I said, just be willing to, play to your strengths and find others to be your strength when you can recognize what your own weaknesses are, and also be able to be that strength for someone else who might need you. I think that, again, building relationships is the core key to any collaboration being successful. And I think that we all have probably more resources than we realize, and just being present, being available, and also asking for what you need. I know that that's a big sticking point for a lot of people. I was one of them for many years, up until recently. Actually, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Um, it is okay to ask for help. It is going to expedite things for you when you ask for help. It is. Uh, a friend of mine, our running joke. She's the CEO of a major tech corporation that does global contracts, and she'll suggest something to me, and I'll ask her a question, and her response is always, "Oh, that's easy." As a joke, she gave me one of those Staples easy button where you press the red button that just says easy, because those are the things that are so easy for her. Those are the things that are not so easy for me. So, but she's also built that career by doing exactly that, relying on the people who she needs in the places she needs them to fulfill the things that she needs them to do. And I think we can all learn from that model. So that would be my 2 cents there, is be willing to ask for the help that you need. And even when recently as well, I was like, I don't know what I don't know. You just kind of keep stumbling around in the dark till you stub your toe enough times. You can navigate that room a little better in the dark, and you learn the people and resources that you have around you that are willing to help, if you can just reach out and ask and let them know that this is what you're looking for. I think that's key. And like I said, my name is Rhonda Rasich. My website is rhondaspeaks.com. You can email me at rhondaspeaks.com, and my Instagram and LinkedIn are both just my name, Rhonda Rasich.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you, Rhonda. Adam, you're up.
Okay. Well, I guess I'd like to say it's very important, know your competition, respect your competition, and befriend your competitors. Why? We all of our businesses, we need competition to thrive. Without competition, there is no demand, period.
Right.
We all support one another, any given industry. My ad may prompt somebody to patronize someone else's business, and vice versa. There's plenty to go around for everybody. I'm a big advocate of, again, befriending the competition, knowing what they're about, how you're similar, how you're different, how you might be able to help each other out. It's not always about stealing business from each other. A lot of times you put like-minded, put a couple people together that are have the same common goals, and you'd be amazed at what could develop from that.
And real quick, I'm going to jump real quick on Adam, though, because I know where his place is. He literally is right across from another spot that does TRT therapy.
Right.
So literally, like, he can open his door and they're right there. So when he says it, he believes it, and he's working it, and they're super successful, regardless of the person who's right across from him.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, as far as contact, again, it's Adam Burns. Our clinic is Modern Therapeutics here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Our website, moderntherapeuticsaz.com. And if you'd like to learn a little bit about what we do, please stop by sometime. Thank you. And Peter, thank you for the invitation. Regina, thanks for having me on your show this morning.
It was a delight, Adam. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Peter, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts on this whole journey that we're all on together is we need more like-minded people like us. And I'll call it it's an infectious giving, right? It's infectious giving. And when people can see that you're genuine in that, it really does drop the guard that they're told they're supposed to have up, right? Don't trust everybody, don't trust that person, don't trust this person, but at some point, if you're able to connect with that person on an emotional place as another human being, the reception of listening and hearing, which are two different things, of doing both simultaneously, increases astronomically. And I think when you come in in a room, and I come in a room of vulnerability, I'm not afraid to tell my story. None of you are afraid to tell your stories. We all have them. We're told, don't tell your story because people look at you this way or look at you that way. Actually, it's the opposite. People actually gravitate towards you So if there's one thing I could say is we need more of that. So anybody who watches this or listens, don't be afraid to tell your story. Your story is going to connect you to so many more people than you ever thought. And it's a good thing to share. And it actually, it's almost like a cleansing of yourself too. You're able to share this story that you have of why you do what you do, of how you got there. And I think that's where the collaboration starts, because then in my mind, I'm like, you know what, I can work with that person. I don't know how, but I'm going to. But I know somebody who knows a brother who has a sister who can help them. So and that's where the whole thought process came in. And I'm honored to be a part of this group and to have these wonderful people to collaborate with and help all of them grow their businesses, because the more you give, the more you get, and it really is just that. It's that simple. So I'll end with that.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Peter, yes, you brought an amazing group of folks today, and I really enjoyed hearing from each of you, hearing your stories and your wisdom for the world. And as we share that wisdom about collaboration, we change the world, right? We get to be part of that ripple effect of making that positive impact in the world. So thank you again, all of you, for being here today.
Thank you.
And we
Thank you
want to
very
thank
much,
our
Regina.
listeners as well,
Yep.
our viewers, our listeners, anybody who's watching the show. And if you enjoyed it, please share it with somebody else who might benefit from it. Let's spread the joy, spread the word about collaboration, and we change the world as we do so. Thanks again for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Collaboration Conversations. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.